should be all set. So we got Bounty Nomad in the chat. Good evening, people. Positive energy all around, as always, keeping it positive all the time. But yeah, let me hop into the sales of this week. So I dropped the sale this week, eBay promotion. A lot of people was asking whether you need to have an official eBay store to run a promotion or not, and the answer is you absolutely do need to have an eBay store. You can have the cheapest store, I think, is called the starter store. You can start with that. I think it's $5 a month. Or you can do the basic eBay store, the one that I have, and that one is I think it's $25 a month if you pay annually. So so that's just some of the smaller details in terms of running an eBay promotion. But the reason why I ran it was, I told you guys earlier, my sales have been not super slow, but I did realize a slight decrease in my overall sales just for the month of September. I even had a 0 sale day, and I usually don't have sales where I make $0 on either platform. Right now I'm selling on eBay and Poshmark, and I usually would have a sale at least from one platform. But that earlier this month had a 0 sale day, so I didn't really trip too much. But then a few days later, 2 days back to back, both sales were less than $60. So I just wanted to switch things up a little bit. I tell you guys all the time about the importance of going into your eBay store, tinkering with some of your older listings and stuff like that, whether you're taking some fresh photos or just ending them and using the sell similar option. And I was doing that, but I realized sales were still kind of slow. And the funny thing is, I didn't run an eBay promotion in years. It's been at least maybe almost 2 years since the last time I ran a eBay sale. So I ran one just for 3 days, just to give it a test run, just to see how I felt about it. And thankfully, the sales were really, really good. The first day, the amount of sales brought in was over $1,000. The next day, I think, was about $700, and then the next day was about $900, and then the last day of the sale was just about $700, almost $800 in gross sales. So very good results with just running that eBay promotion. I think moving forward, I'm going to start doing more sales, especially since we're in fourth quarter now. And, it's so competitive now. It's super, super competitive on the online market. It's one of those things where you just have to keep your prices competitive. You have to make sure that your items are attractive and buyers actually want to make that purchase, because like I said, with so much competition, buyers can just go ahead and make a purchase just about anywhere right now. It's so many different options. Even when as malls are opening up now, people can go to the mall and buy a pair of shoes brand new, $30-$40, a complete outfit, sometimes, $60 out the door. So it's super important for all of us that sell online to just make sure that our prices are competitive and, our items look attractive. And somebody had even asked in one of my previous live shows that they were also experiencing slow sales. And I think right now there's a few people that are saying, they're also experiencing slow sales, but that's just part of the game. You know what I mean? Some months are going to be booming. Some months are going to be slow. It's just part of the whole entrepreneur journey. And like the title of this video, it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. So you're just going to have to constantly tweak your store, constantly try to make improvements, and you just go from there. So let's see who's in the chat. We got Pamela George in here. Hey, Akil and Dom. Pam from ATL. That's what's up. We got, my man, Bounty Nomad from Brooklyn. All right, that's what's up. I knew he was family. I already knew that. Let's see. Veronica C. Good evening from Virginia. Yes, can hear you loud and clear. Okay, good. We got Jonathan Brown in here. Good evening, my people. And we got WGI Vision. Do selling on GOAT or StockX? Yeah, I'm definitely going to start selling on GOAT. That's another platform I'm looking into. StockX, not so much, only because they have that. Their fees are a little too high for me. And a lot of the items that I get are not brand new in box. I don't get a lot of hype items. But I think with GOAT, since I do so much retail arbitrage from places like Ross, I think I might do better on GOAT. So that's definitely going to be an option I'm going to start locking into. And I was telling you guys earlier, I've been trying to just, really just branch out, just think a little more broadly in terms of the reselling business. That's why I was looking into wholesale and liquidation pallets, and just not only wholesale and liquidation pallets, but more so just wholesaling from, different wholesalers, different brands, just trying to see if I can get brand new items in bulk. So I'm going to tinker around with some wholesale palettes. I haven't found anything that I'm super excited about yet, but of course I'll keep you guys posted on that. I just know it's going to be a process. You know what I mean? For me, I just started thinking this way maybe about 2 or 3 weeks ago at this point. So it might take, it might take 4 weeks, it might take 6 months, but we'll see how it goes. Because it's super important to just make sure that you get quality items. When you're dealing with wholesale and liquidation and stuff like that, it's super, super easy to just come across a bunch of trash. You can just Google wholesale, and 99% of the items that you're going to come across is just trash. It's returns and stuff like that. And those are the type of stuff that, not to say people don't make money from it, because I'm sure a lot of people do well with it, but it's just not something I'm really interested in. The purpose of me wanting to get into more wholesale and just more bulk items is so that I can kind of buy back my time. Even though the profit margins aren't as high as it would be with somewhere like picking up some shoes from Ross and picking it up for, $40 and selling it for $150, the margins might not be that great, but at least if I'm doing volume, I'd be able to still recoup the same amount of the overall net profit is the goal. So that's definitely something I'm thinking of more and more every day. That's why I say it's a marathon. It's not a sprint. It's not something that will just happen overnight. I know I still gotta go to these different stores now and then eventually I might be able to kind of buy back some of my time. But maybe later on in the year. I'll give it until about next year, sometime late next year. I'll try to really keep pushing, and we'll see how it goes with that. So as you guys are coming into the chat, if you guys have any questions, any reseller questions, any entrepreneurial based questions, eBay stuff, Poshmark stuff, drop it in the chat so we can keep the conversation going. I know the Lakers are playing tonight, game 4. So we're about to be on here for just about an hour, and I'm gonna hop off and try to tune in and make sure LeBron brings it home for the home team. So if y'all got questions, let me know. Oh, let me hold on. The computer's about to die. Hold on. All right, y'all. So we all set. We are live. We good. Just had to make sure that this computer is plugged up so we don't get disconnected mid live stream. But until the questions start to pour in, just a couple questions that I got in some of my previous videos that we can start the video off with. Somebody had asked me, one, if I can do a video on how to run a sale on eBay. And I'm going to do that video tomorrow, probably midday tomorrow. I'll be dropping that one. And it's really easy, really simple. The best things about running a sale, the things I really do love about it, is the simple fact that you don't have to put everything on sale. You can pick certain items, some of the items that we would consider stale inventory. You can easily just put some of those items on sale and just kind of push some of the older stuff. And the newer stuff that you're listing, if say you made a sale, say you started your promotion on Monday and you just listed some new items on Tuesday, you don't necessarily have to put those items on sale. So that's the really good thing about running sales. Also, the really good thing that I did realize just from running my own promotion this week is that what it does is that it just brings in more traffic to your store. So it's one of those things where the main thing is to, of course, convert the sale, but you need more eyes on your items for, the opportunities for the potential for you to actually make the sale. So by bringing in more traffic, I realized that I was selling items that wasn't even on sale. And the big thing too, a lot of people would say to make sure that when you're running an eBay sale, make sure that you increase your items to say, 20, 25%, and then you will drop a sale for say 15 to 20%. That way you're not giving buyers too much of a discount. But for me, I didn't even increase any of my prices. I tried to, just put all the items that were considered stale, some of the items that weren't moving as fast as I would have liked it to. Those are the items that I put on sale. And then, the ton of other items that were not on sale were still selling really, really well. So that was something that I really did like. Let's see what's going on in the chat here. The Nike outlet in Anthem had a bunch of Nike Air Max 95s for $62 out the door. That's what's up. I think I've been to that one maybe one time, but that Nike outlet out in Anthem is like maybe an hour and a half away from me. I haven't been out there since then, but that's what's up. What colorway was that? Because 95s have been selling pretty well, but it got to be a good colorway. You know what I mean? It got to be a good colorway. I'm sitting on some 95s that I picked up from Nordstrom Rack when they had their 40% off sale, and it's been sitting since the sale, and the sale was, I think, in like April. So those shoes are still sitting, but for the most part, I'm confident in some Air Max 95s. As long as it's a good colorway, you can't really go wrong with those, and especially if they're brand new in box, that'll always do well, especially if you're selling on GOAT. On GOAT and on StockX. Veronica, we got native New Yorkers in here. New Rochelle, that's what's up. We got a lot of New York people in here. Somebody just dropped a question on my one of my previous videos asking me where I was from. For y'all that don't know, I'm from Brooklyn, New York. Lived in Cali for a little bit, but now my wife and I were living out here in Arizona, mainly because Cali was just way too expensive. I didn't think it was way cheaper cost of living. So it's just exciting to see the changes that's happening. My man said green, orange, black, and red. All right, those sound dope. I think I've seen those before. I'm not exactly sure. I might have seen them, but not sure. Green, orange, black, and red. $62. I mean, you could at least sell those for at least 120. I'm sure. Let's see. UGG boots are the best thing to get right now. Absolutely. UGG boots sell like crazy during the fourth quarter. That's one thing I absolutely miss about living in California, because when we lived in Cali, I was about 30 minutes away from the UGG outlet, and I would go out there and just rack up as much stuff as possible. The funny thing is I was much more conservative back then, very conservative in terms of my spending. I used to budget myself really tightly. I was building my credit, but my credit wasn't as good, and my credit limit wasn't as high as it is now. So back then I definitely had a lot more limitations, but now if I was to go out there, I would probably spend, $10,000, top of the year, and then just let it trickle down later on throughout the year. Especially fourth quarter, you can't go wrong, because people still love Uggs, and that's an easy, $100 to $200 shoe that you can flip all day long, especially with the Ugg outlet. I was getting those boots for, $30-$40. So if you guys can get your hands on them, definitely do that. Can't go wrong with that at all. Let's say Brooklyn, are we in here? And I lived in Arizona for 4 years. Yeah, a lot of people said they lived in Arizona and they moved. The thing is, Arizona, I couldn't tell why people moved, because one, it's super hot. Like it was 115 way too long. So I understand why people left. But I feel like now there's so much new construction, so much new energy, so much people moving into Arizona. It's just different compared to how it probably was 5-10 years ago. So now I would say it's the place to be. I could imagine 5-10 years ago it probably was very dry, very boring. Nobody would want to be out here, but definitely could tell. Let's see. Have you thought about moving back to New York? No, not necessarily. Like, especially after COVID and everything, how that stuff played out. I'm glad we wasn't living in New York. But I haven't really thought about it. At this point, I'm just over the cold. You know what I mean? I'm not necessarily excited about winters and snow and all that type of stuff. For me, I'm good. I'm good though. Only move I would probably do. I'm hearing a lot of good things about certain places in Texas, certain place like North Carolina, Charlotte area. I'm hearing good stuff about there. But outside of that, I don't think I could do New York again. It's too expensive. It's too crowded. It's just not conducive for what I'm trying to do, where I'm trying to grow the business. Let's see. eBay is not working for me since I started. The shipping options are overwhelming. Can't figure it out. So the thing with the whole shipping on eBay, one thing I tell people, shipping, of course, is definitely confusing, right? But you want to make sure that you're sourcing items that is just easier for you to ship. So even for me, when I first started out, I was sourcing just about anything I can sell. Whatever I can find was what I would pick up, regardless of how big, how heavy. I would just pick it up and figure it out afterwards. Now I'm really trying to only source items that I know for a fact that I can either ship via pirate ship, and if it's a heavier item, even if it's going to the East Coast, just based on the size, as long as it's under about 21 inches, it should only cost me like $12, at most. At most, if it's super heavy and it's like 21 inches. Usually shipping stuff with pirate ship is just about 950 or less. So a good tip that I have for you is to, one, get familiar with pirate ship, because it will make the shipping options a little cheaper for you. But two, only source items that you know would either go first class or in a flat rate padded envelope, or just one of those paper flat rate envelopes. That way you won't have to put too much thought into into all the different shipping options. As long as you have a scale and as long as you have a printer, you'll be good to go in terms of shipping stuff out on eBay, and it'll just save you a lot of time. So I know it can be confusing with regional A boxes and large and medium flat rate boxes. It can definitely be confusing, but if you just kind of narrow down your sourcing to items that will either ship out first class or one of the more affordable first flat rate options, you'll be just fine and good to go. But it can definitely be very expensive shipping out stuff on eBay if you're not sure on what you're doing. I know Poshmark makes it super easy. Mercari makes it super easy. Every other platform makes it easy, but I think eBay intentionally has all of those different options available. And it's a good thing, but at the same time, for new people, it can be a bad thing and kind of discouraging. So you just gotta do the research. You'll be just fine. Father-son resales. I'm in Texas and we are being flooded with people from New York and Cali. Yeah, I've heard about that. Especially during the height of COVID, where a lot of people were moving. I know so much people, a lot of my friends too, were just trying to get out of the city because, for one, it was like ground zero where, the virus was spreading at an all-time high. But at the same time, it just opened a lot of people's eyes to see that you don't necessarily need to be, in a big city if you're not in a big city, but in New York City, if you're working from home. And so many people now are working from home, like the New York Life building, one of the biggest office buildings has been closed for a while. It used to house like 5,000 workers. I think they have like 100 employees in there now. So the game is changing overall. That's why I think too, with eBay and just online reselling has started to boom, because so many people is rushing to sell things online, whether they're rushing to sell on Poshmark because it's so easy, and it's especially easy to ship and easy to list, but eBay as well. There's a lot of people that used to be on eBay and was doing pretty well on that platform, and then they stopped, and now they're hopping right back on it, trying to either make some more money or just trying to make ends meet. So that's gonna be something tough for that's gonna be something tough for the next few months. But it's always going to be waves. It's always going to be a time where there's a bunch of people. There's always going to be an influx of people coming to the different platforms, and then a bunch of people are going to leave as well. So reselling as a a business or a side hustle or just an overall career, the turnover rate is insane. I would probably say 50 or 60%, because most people get into it just selling items out of their closet, and then eventually they realize they might try to want to scale, and then realize that reselling requires a lot more work than they thought of originally. So it's just one of those things where, just like I said, it's a marathon, not a sprint. We're going to continuously see ups and downs. Bounty Nomad, how did you price the Uggs? I got them for $30 price range, but I'm pricing way below retail and they are flying. I can't hold on. I usually price in the 125 to 135 range, where the retail is over 200. Yeah, I think I did just about that. When it came down to the Uggs, I really just based my prices on what the market dictated it to be. I didn't try to price anything too high, and I tried to make sure my prices weren't too low, especially if you have some of those really like good winter boots, like I think it's called the Adirondack, where they had like fur on the inside, but then those like big rubber outsoles, those always did really, really well. A few of the other ones, like the classic shorts, those always did really well, at least 120, sometimes a little more depending on the color and the size. The one big thing that I did realize with UGG and that UGG outlet out there in Cali was the fact that they would sometimes get a ton of size 5, 6s, and 7s. And size 7 would sell, decent, not as fast as, 8 and 9 and 9.5 would do. But the sizing was always the biggest deterrent for me. If I had a size 5 or a 5.5, those might take months to sell. But if I came across, size 7.5 to 9.5, those would be the money sizes I would consider it to be. So I always try to make sure I grab those type of sizes. And even to this day, if I come across a size 5 shoe in Ross or the Nike outlet or Adidas or something like that, I usually hardly ever pick up small sizes like that. Even size 6 is kind of tough as well, because it's not that many people that wear those smaller sizes. So when it comes down to choosing the sizes and which ones to pick out, you just got to use your better judgment. For women's shoes, I try to stay right around like that 7 to about 9.5. I've sold 10, but 10 is kind of slow as well. And for men, I try to stick around that 8.5 to about 13. Once you start getting bigger sizes, it takes a lot longer. Even size 12.5 is very, very tough to move. So I don't even try to do that. Let's see. Poshmark has started airing their commercials again. They probably realized they needed to, pull up, straighten up their marketing. It makes perfect sense. I haven't been seeing them. I don't watch TV. I'm usually just on YouTube or Netflix, but I'm glad they're starting to do some more promotion again. I was even tinkering with the idea of like getting back onto Poshmark, but the thing is, my items are just more expensive now. And I was doing really well on Poshmark when my items were like that $20 to $30 price point. Anything that I had around that price range sold really well. Now, I guess like my average sale price is maybe, if I had to guess, I'm not like looking in front of the computer, it would probably be like around 70 to 80 bucks now with some of the shoes I've been selling. So that Poshmark audience, that Poshmark customer, they're not looking to spend that much money on certain items. At least from my perspective, I've seen that. So I'm still tinkering with the idea if I want to get back on Poshmark, and hearing that they're dropping commercials again is encouraging. But that 20% fee and the sharing aspect is two major deterrents. I don't have the time to share as much as I used to. And that 20% fee, once you start selling more expensive items, that 20% definitely takes out a huge chunk of the profit. So those two big reasons why I'm not so fond of Posh, but still thinking about if I want to start putting more items on there. People have even been asking me, like dropping comments under some of my stuff, because some of my older Poshmark videos still get some decent views, and people, I guess, are surprised that my Poshmark closet is so small, or I'm not like focused on there anymore. But I don't know. I'm still not a fan of it, but it's good to hear that, they get in their commercials are back and they're putting more marketing dollars. And that's because they know fourth quarter is here as well. So they're just trying to make sure that, they can get some buyers on the platform. Let's see. Also, fellow resellers, be nice to your store workers. Had my local Ross wait for a reseller to leave and restock for me because they said he was extremely rude to them. Build relationships. That's amazing right there. Yeah, I think that's more along the mindset that I'm transitioning to. Just trying to build more relationships, just trying to build more partnerships, and whether it be wholesale or whether it just be a local connection, you know what I mean, or auction house or something like that. The key to business, period, and just the key to success is really about your network, and that's something I wasn't necessarily putting too much emphasis in and putting enough attention into, and that's something that I'm also like putting at the forefront. Just trying to grow my network and just continue to provide value, because that's the biggest thing about growing a network. It's not always about what other people can do for you. It's more so about what you can do for them, and in return, the universe is gonna just give you back. You just like karma. You put positive energy out, you help somebody out, later on in the future, or it might be 10, 30 years from now, but, positive energy always does come back. So that's the super important thing about just building a network that some people, don't necessarily understand, or they think that, they build a network and they'll just have a bunch of people that can help them. It's more so about you putting yourself out there so you can help others. And, in return, hopefully somebody can, have some opportunities to help you as well. But it's all about just providing value, how you can help other people. That's the super important part about building a relationship. Let's see. Anybody going to be on that Posh Live tonight, 7 p.m. Pacific, which is 12 a.m. for me? Now, I saw that they sent out the email, but I wasn't really interested in it. I mean, I might hop on there depending on how long I stay on this live. I might hop on there, but I mean, I don't know. I'm not necessarily I don't sell much on Poshmark, so I don't know. I don't think they might say anything that might convince me to do otherwise, but we'll see. Let's see. 5.5 to 6 is very hard to sell in a shoe size for women. Trust me, I know. 5.5. I remember I bought a bunch of UGG sneakers that were size 5 and 5.5, and I bought them for like $12 a piece. And I had those shoes for at least a year and a half. I think I sold my last pair when I moved to Arizona. So 5.5 and 6, very, very tough. That's why it's so easy to find five sizes 6 and 6.5 in Ross in certain shoes for women, because the Ross gets the shoes that the Nike outlet and some of these other Nike distributors, they kind of pass it on to Ross and Marshalls, and that's why they get so much of it, because Nike couldn't move it themselves. So that's definitely a big fact. Big fact. Let's see. Just an FYI, Macari's offers to likers suck. Can't offer but once in 3 days. I give up. Oh, that's different. I thought it was more like Poshmark in the sense that you can just, as soon as someone likes it, you can just send them an offer. But that's good to know. That's good to know. I'm gonna have to look into Macari and see. You get more bees with honey than vinegar. Absolutely. That's what I mean in the sense of, networking, building relationships. You got to continuously provide value and positive energy, and you get what you want. It might not come when you want it, but it's definitely the way to go about it. Women's size 10 is popular. Keep that size. I've sold size 10s in women's. I've sold it a few times, but I don't know if I would say like the size that moves the fastest for me in women's sizes is 8.5. If I get shoes around there, those usually tend to move the fastest. I had some dunks that sold. I think they were called the disco ball dunks, and they were a size 11. The wedges, the dunk wedges, and those sold for like $150, and they were a size 10, and they sold in like 30 of maybe not 20-30 minutes. It sold maybe like 6 hours after I listed it. So it sold really quickly, and I was a size 10. So it just depends on the shoes. Do you find clothing and shoes in the discount stores to be off, run small? Also, ever source from Gabe's, is that a chain in area? So I'm not gonna say I think it runs small or anything's off. Sometimes you might come across an item that says like if perfect, or it might even say irregular on the tag. I know I was just in Ross a couple of days ago looking at some of the jeans, and there were some dope Levi jeans that they were like 501s, the strength to fit, and those sell for like $50, $60 on eBay all day long. But it said if perfect. So if you see some shoes or you see anything with a tag that says if perfect, clearly that means it's irregular and has a problem. Also, when you're dealing with stuff in some of those discount stores, with shoes in particular, you might see a stamp, and it might be like a B stamp on the inside near the size tag. Now, if you see something like that, that also means it's a B grade. So you definitely come across some items that are imperfect or have some flaws. In terms of sizing, I'm not too sure. I usually only pick up like Nike stuff, or if I come across something really dope, a random brand in one of those places like Ross or Burlington, I'll pick it up. But I don't do too much clothing anymore. I'm definitely picking up coats and jackets right now because, of course, those are selling. But I know I'm not doing as much clothing as I used to. So I couldn't even say if, I come across items and the fit is off, anything like that. Let's see. How do you stay motivated? Good question. Because, boy, lately it's been tough. I'm not going to lie. It has been tough, and it's just a lot going on. I told you guys earlier, my wife and I were looking for a house. So just that whole house hunting process has been more on the stressful side, only because, especially in Arizona, drop a comment if you guys are familiar. And I think this is true just about everywhere across the country right now. The housing market is booming. People are buying up houses, sometimes sight unseen. And I think it's because, the interest rates are super low right now. And just my generation as a whole, a lot of us, this is going to be our first time buying a home. So the competition is just, it's different. The competition is at an all-time high. So combining the influx of people buying their first home, combined with the fact that interest rates are at an all-time low, it's a recipe for a lot of people trying to buy a house. So that whole house hunting process has been definitely more on the stressful side. But in terms of just staying motivated overall, I tell people all the time, motivation is fleeting. Sometimes it comes and it goes, and it goes in waves, and it comes and goes in waves. So there's days and weeks where I'm feeling super motivated. My energy is on 10,000, and I try to get as much done within that time. And then days where I'm not feeling as motivated. Some things that really help me is I'll just go to the gym. And it's one of those things where even though I might not get the task at hand that I was supposed to get done, at least I'm still, building progress in another facet of my life that's also super important. And once I come back from the gym or just take some time to myself, it usually does kind of refill my cup a little bit. So for me, that's one of the most important parts of just being an entrepreneur in general. I think it has really helped me, just going to the gym, staying fit, staying focused. I always tell people working out is important, especially if you're a business owner, only because, well, for several reasons. Of course, everyone wants to be healthy and live longer, but working out gives you it builds up that mental callus, right? So when you're having those days where you're not feeling as motivated or things aren't going as planned, it builds up that mental toughness by doing those extra reps that you necessarily didn't want to do, or just pushing one more set, or just hitting a personal record for yourself. Is just one of those things where it'll just give you that satisfaction that you'll need, and build up that mental callus that you need to kind of persevere. So for me, I always tell people, if you're going to get into any type of business, regardless of the industry, you gotta join a gym or just work out at home. But working out, staying fit, and running a business, for me, goes hand in hand. It definitely goes hand in hand. Let's see. Try Macari Akila, it is 10%, and I find that they don't haggle as much. So they are 10%, but the fees are going up. The fees are definitely going up. I did sign up for Macari, and they sent emails out a while ago where they said their fees they're going to start including that, almost like PayPal, that processing fee, that 10.9%, plus 30-cent processing fee or something like that. So the fees are going up, still right on par with other platforms like eBay. But it is going up, but Macari is definitely the way to go right now for sure. Have you seen these Coach ankle boots in different colorways here lately at Ross? Been picking up all I can find, and I've seen a couple Fry boots at Ross as well. No, I haven't seen any Coach, haven't seen any Fry. If I did, I probably would have grabbed them up myself. But usually during this time of the year, Coach boots usually do end up in Ross. So I'm still going to be on the hunt. I'll see if I can find them. But I have been coming across Polo boots, and I've been grabbing those up from Ross and Burlington as well. But Coach, none. Fry, not even one. So keep you guys updated, and if I do come across any, but so far no luck on there. Do you use any special credit card to get cash back rewards? So right now I have the Capital One Spark business, the Spark card, and I use that as my business card. And the good thing about that is that they give 2% back on all purchases and stuff like that. And I actually use it for flights and mileage and stuff like that. Of course now is not really using any flights, but those travel miles definitely rack up really, really quickly. Especially for me, since I'm doing so much retail arbitrage and I'm spending a decent amount of money in places like Marshall's and the Nike outlet and stuff like that. So the mileage, the flight miles, and the rewards as a whole definitely rack up. If you don't want to, I also pay an annual fee for the Spark card as well. There's 2 different tiers for the Capital One Spark. So I think you can use one where there's, I think, 1.5%, and then the other one is 2%. And the one that's 1.5 doesn't have any annual fees. So you can look into that one. In the link in my description, I have the American Express. I think it's called the American Express Blue Cash Rewards. That one was one of my first credit cards. And if you sign up using my link, I don't remember how much I get. I think I get $50 and you get $50. Not exactly sure how much, but if you sign up with that, that's a really good credit card as well. That was my first one, and that card usually does accept people really quickly and really easily. Now since COVID happened and a lot of these credit card companies switched up their requirements, I'm not sure how easy it is to get approved. I know a lot of credit card companies or even cutting people's credit limits based on how they were spending money. So you definitely want to make sure that you have some form of a credit card. I think I have like 3 or 4 cards at this point. I have 2 Capital ones, and I also have the Quicksilver. I have the Quicksilver, the Spark, and American Express. So you definitely want to make sure you have some different options, some different credit cards, just so you can grow your business. Because as long as you have good credit, you can always, have access to more funds and be able to scale your business. I think just having the capital is super, super important. And that's the reason why most businesses fail within the first few years. It's not because they don't have a solid business plan, and it's not because they don't have customers. It's usually because they run out of capital. So if you can get a good credit card that can work with you and help you build up your credit limits and stuff like that, though you can only go up from there. You know what I mean? It's one of those things where more people need to start utilizing their credit, especially if you want to get into reselling, because once your item sells, you make profit, but just by purchasing your items, you also gain rewards. So super, super important. Shorty Doo-Wop, I went to Gabe's. Have to be careful because most of their items don't have original tags. At least that's what I experienced. I wish I had a Gabe's out here, but I think that might only be in the South. I'm not exactly sure, but I know I watch Noah to Flip It channel, and I know he's in Atlanta and he has a Gabe's out there. But I don't have any Gabe's in Arizona. If I do, I gotta check, because I know I didn't have any in California, but I haven't seen any out here. Let's see. I got to scroll up a little bit. How do I get better at sourcing online? What sites are good to source shoes online? So that's a good question. If I had the answer for you, I would tell you, but I'm just trying to figure that out myself, because when it comes down to just sourcing online, you're going to have to just spend a lot of time, checking through clearance sites and stuff like that. One place that I went not too long ago, I tried Bodega. I don't remember the website, but you can just type in Bodega, Bodega, and they had a huge clearance sale. And it's usually only the stuff that goes on clearance is the type of stuff I try to buy and flip. So I definitely used Bodega once. I even used the Adidas eBay store. Adidas has an official eBay store, and sometimes they have buy one get one free. Sometimes they have 50% off their entire store. So you just have to be on top of it and try to see what you can find that just makes sense, where you can make money with it. Also Nordstrom Rack, I know they have some really good online sales. So there's tons of different options out there. Nordstrom Rack, like I said, Urban Outfitters. I think I got some stuff from Urban Outfitters a couple times. This was months ago, but just different stores. You just got to think of some of the stores that's in the malls, even Champs and Finish Line. Check their clearance sections as well, because sometimes they might have something on clearance on the website, but it wouldn't necessarily be in the store. So if you're just staying on top of it, you can always grab up some good deals. But in terms of like wholesale deals, I'm still trying to find like a wholesaler that will sell just Adidas shoes or just Nike shoes or, Merrill or Keen, or any of those type of brands. I haven't found any wholesalers or distributors like that yet, but we'll see. Staying positive. I'm pretty sure it's just a matter of time. Let's see. I posted the biohacks for sale on Insta. One of my Nike Connects hit me about the shoes, and I told him I'd give it to him for the low. Wasn't his size, but he was super appreciative. Now I'm his favorite guy. That's what's up. How are the biohacks doing on in terms of resale? I don't personally, I don't like the shoe. I think it's just too much colors, and it reminds me of those Dunks that dropped. I don't remember the name of them. I think they was like Stussy Dunks or something like that, but I wasn't a fan of them. So how are they doing in terms of resale? Let's see. I used to kill it on Macari a couple years ago. Then they put me in seller's jail and literally told me to give others a chance. What? That sounds crazy. I don't know about that. Let's see. Yes, Macari fees are going up. Absolutely. Yeah, going up. It's about 12% now. Let's see. Thought about scaling my closet down to 25 items so I can focus on listing on eBay. Sharing is time consuming. May close it. Tried Macari, no luck. They automatically place items on sale. Oh, so you're talking about that. It's like, I think it's like a markdown manager or something like that, where you basically price your items, and then over the course of the a week or 2 weeks, they continuously reduce your price. I think it's like magic pricing or something like that it's called. But you don't necessarily have to use that option. That's just an extra option. You don't need to use that. But I understand 100% in terms of the sharing aspect in terms of Poshmark. That's why I know myself and a lot of other people don't like it. And the other thing too, so many people are just using bots or sharing services or those Google extensions that share your closet every once in a while or whenever you set it to share. So it's just different now. It's not as easy, and it's just way more competitive, but now you're competing with robots. So it's I don't know about you, but I know I can't necessarily beat a robot in certain stuff, especially when it comes to sharing. So that's why the platform is seeing a lot of trouble. They say the whole sharing services and using bots is not a part of their terms and conditions, but so many people are using it and they're not doing anything about it. So I think that's going to be something they might try to look into the future, but who knows? Let's see. When do you know when to quick flip a flooded item or wait until the flood is over? It just depends on the item. It really just depends. And I hate giving answers like that because it's so ambiguous, but it really depends. Sometimes with a flooded item, and if it's really flooded, say 500 or 600 listings, and there's a ton of people with your same size as well, especially if we're talking about shoes. Sometimes it's just better to just cut your losses, try to either break even or make a little bit of profit and just get rid of it. But sometimes if it's like a really dope shoe, sometimes I'll just bet on the shoe and I'll just wait until the flood is over. I actually just sold some Ultra Boosts, and they wasn't nothing special, nothing dope, but it was also a very, very flooded shoe. When I picked it up, it was about 30 listings at the time. And about 3 to 4 weeks later, it was like over 200. So those shoes took about 5 months for me to finally sell it for $100. But if I wanted to sell it faster, I would have simply just dropped the price. But I know Ultra Boost usually do hold its value, especially for women's shoes. They usually do hold its value pretty well. So I just waited. You know what I mean? So there's certain times where I just cut my losses and I just try to gain a little bit of profit or just break even. But there's oftentimes I'll just wait and be patient, because I don't necessarily like going to stores and making returns all the time, only because since I go to the same stores to source, I don't want to be the guy that they know buys a ton of shoes or a ton of items in the beginning of the month, and then 30 days later, I'm returning tons and tons of stuff. So for me, I just know it's a bad look and I try not to do it, but it is what it is. Let's see. Some fly in here. Let's see what's going on in the chat. I gotta scroll up. Akil, how many items do you have in your inventory? Just over 500 items right now. Just over 5. I'm definitely not one of those people that believes in having a huge store. I try to have quality over quantity. I tried the quantity game. I tried to like buy a bunch of stuff, but I realized that the problem was that I didn't have access to a bunch of quality stuff. So I was buying a bunch of junk that nobody really wanted. And I saw that my store was growing and I had big numbers, but my sales, like my conversions, didn't go up. So I realized instead of just wasting the money on those items that might bring in, smaller profits, but I would just kind of enticed with the idea of having a big store, I realized I was just playing myself because I was spending money on items that wasn't selling. So I just honed down on my store. I kept it small, and I don't plan. At one point early in the year, I was thinking of getting I think it's called the Enterprise, or whichever is the next level where you can list about 1,000 items on eBay. I was thinking of getting that one. I think it might be called the Premium eBay Store. Then I realized that it's not needed for me at this point. Like, even if I spend a little more money and even if I have to pay for listings, I'd rather do that than have to pay every month for that $60 just $60 every month just to maintain an eBay store. So you always got to just weigh your options, do the math. A lot of people just think that if they have a ton of inventory, their sales are going to increase, but just do the math for yourself. Some people, it might be better for you to do that, especially if you get stuff from Goodwill bins where your buying cost is really low. But for me, I'm not a bins, like a bins shopper. So it was never really in my plans to get a huge store. Let's see. Ordered packing supplies from the post office back in August. Still waiting. After Q4 is over, I'm stocking up. My postman better be ready. Yeah, man. I bought some. Well, I didn't pay for them because they're free, but I ordered some padded flat rate bags in August. I didn't get them until maybe the end of August. So it took about a little over 3 weeks. And since then, I think it's been moving steadier because I've just ordered a bunch more. I put in like 5 or 6 orders, and you can only order 100 at a time. So since then, I've just been stocking up on them, and they come straight to my PO box. So that's thankfully the postman in my area won't have to deal with too much big packages. But I realized that, since it was moving so slow, I just wanted to make sure I was prepared for the influx of sales, whether they come or not. I just rather be prepared, because the worst thing is to just not be prepared and not be ready for the sales and then not have enough packing supply. So my mom always says, rather be safe than sorry. Let's see. I'm close to 500 and it's not working. Too much stuff people aren't buying. I mean, if you got 500 quality items, you'll be good. But like I said, for me, I realized that once I was trying to get to like 700-800 items, I was like, man, I'm buying trash. So I'm literally playing myself. So, and at that point in time too, I was just a one-man team, trying to create a really big store. And it just became harder and harder to manage. And at that point, I didn't even have the storage space for all those items. And since I moved, now I actually have the space, but my inventory is much smaller, only because my conversion rate is still pretty high. When items come in, I try to price it right, and they sell kind of quickly. So that's one reason why my overall inventory has never grown that much, because items sell pretty quickly for me. So it's definitely something to consider. Just curious, from where's your accent? Reminds me of a Charlestonian accent. Charlestonian, I don't even know. Charleston? Maybe Charleston, North Carolina. But I'm from Brooklyn, and my mom's from Trinidad, so it's a mixture of both of those accents. Ever had to cancel an item that you lost? So thankfully, I never lost an item. Thankfully, I did have to cancel orders that sold on eBay, and it's previously sold on Poshmark, and I just never took it off of eBay, and vice versa. I've had to cancel orders that way, but thankfully I've never lost an item. From the very beginning, I was, not to say that my inventory process was always super professional, but I made it just super simple. Before, when I sold a lot of clothes, I had bins that would literally just say shirts 1, long sleeve shirts, or t-shirts, or jerseys. Like, I had bins for every single category. So I never really lost items that way. But I've definitely had to cancel orders when, due to cross listing and stuff like that. Happens to the best of us. Nothing else to say about it. I didn't sign up for an option to promote my listings on Mercari. At least I didn't realize I did that. They just automatically went on sale. Yeah, you might have just checked it, or when the thing was new, when they first initiated that option, if you don't check it off, I think it instantly was just gonna set your thing to like magic price and whatever the name is. I don't remember the name, but that's definitely a thing. Let's see. Are you sourcing toys for Q4? No, right now I haven't come across any good toy deals. Of course, earlier this year I was thinking I was gonna get into toys, but I just never got around to do it, and I just kept switching up, not necessarily switching up the strategy, but I went from doing more thrifting to more retail arbitrage, and then I went to from doing like more retail arbitrage with a little bit of everything. I'm focused heavily on shoes. So with me just being so laser focused on shoes, when it came time to like try to keep my eyes open for toys, I just started looking at toys in Ross like 2 weeks ago. So if I come across anything good, I'll probably grab it. But I mean, I don't know. We'll see. On the luxury brand end, Gucci sells really quickly, especially the shoes and purses. Absolutely. Gucci is always going to sell good. Gucci, Louis, Dior, those brands are always going to do well. Always. Especially as long as you price it right, you'll always sell it fast. Can't go wrong. On Posh, it allows you to share your items on Facebook, IG, and Pinterest. Nice feature when you add a new item. I've actually never like linked. I think I linked my Facebook, but no. I didn't link Facebook. I linked my Pinterest, but I'm not active on Pinterest, so I'm not even sure if sharing it on different social media platforms, if it actually helps convert sales. But I mean, I think it was a nice idea, but I don't know if it actually helped convert any sales for me. So I don't know. Let's see. I have 700 to 800 items in my store at all times, and on average, I sell 100 to 240 items a month. Now, instead of trying to get more, I just try to maintain the number I have since I'm happy with my sell through, and that's a really solid sell through rate. If you selling a decent amount of numbers, a decent amount of items per month, and as long as you can maintain it, you know what I mean, you're good to go. As long as you're not losing items, as long as you're able to ship them out in a good amount of time, and as long as they're in storage and they're good and they're not in like a place where they can get dirty or anything like that or stained, you're good to go. Everybody's, this is the number one thing I keep saying I love about reselling. Everybody's business model can be different. Some people can be selling, some business models can just be one person with 10,000 items in their store, or somebody can just be a 50-man team and they're 3 items, but it's 3 SKUs, but it's over 10,000 of the same 3 items. And I've seen everything. I've seen all of them succeed and all of them do well. So I'm not one of those like sticklers for saying you have to do one thing or have to do the other. I just tell people how I'm doing things and what works for me, but I like that a lot. 240 items a month, that's solid. And that's good money. Can't go wrong with that. Let's see. Biohacks are flipping for around 260 to 300 for big sizes, a little less for the small pairs. They are very popular. I was surprised at how many people hit me up about them. Yeah, I mean, so I think they retail for like 170. So with taxes and everything, probably around 200. So 260, that's good. That's solid. That's definitely solid. I just think now with with Jordan 1s, with it being so popular, as long as it's a high OG, people are gonna grab it up. People are even it's to the point now with the ones where people are even where lows and mids are reselling for money. And I never thought I'd see the day. I remember I was selling Jordan 1 lows in the breads and the royal colorways for like $100 brand new in box, and I was so glad that they were selling for that amount. Now a pair of lows in royals or breads, boy, hundreds of dollars. So it's just crazy how the game is, but you just got to take advantage of the trend right now. And the trend now is Jordan 1s. If you can get some solid mids and some good colors, even those Chicago's and the black toes, even those are reselling. So it's just a different sneaker game we living in right now, but it is what it is. Have you ever thought about having a live auction on IG to sell any of your items? Seen other people doing it, seems to be working for them. I mean, my IG is not reseller related at all. So if I was to do that, it would probably confuse everybody. So I probably wouldn't do that. But for those that have a heavy like reselling presence on IG, I would say do it. Because even when I first started reselling, I was selling items just through my Instagram story, and it would be like ties, or it might be suspenders, or just like accessories. I sold dress shoes because it's very like menswear related, menswear focused. So I was selling accessories like that. on my IG. But if I tried to do that with like a live auction, I don't know how successful it would be. But honestly, I don't even like IG. I don't even like Instagram anymore. So I'm not even the guy to talk about that. I'm not even the guy. Do you promote your eBay items on Pinterest? Nope. I only promote my items using promoted listings. I didn't even know you could promote eBay items on Pinterest. I know Pinterest is a strong platform. Like people rock with Pinterest, especially for like interior design and, you know, crafty people. And a lot of people pin like recipes and stuff like that. But I don't know if the conversion rate is big in terms of Pinterest and sharing it on those platforms. I'm not sure. So haven't really been trying it. Let's see. Hi, Akil. Some sellers use disappearing ink on inventory to keep scammers away. They mark the item before shipping the item out. Have you thought about using those? Tell Dami said hi. Invisible ink on inventory. I definitely never even thought of that. But honestly, the scammers and all those types of situations, it doesn't happen to me as often as like newer eBay sellers. So I'm not necessarily too fond of all those types of stuff. I don't usually get scammed. Thankfully, I know the scams on eBay and on Poshmark is very prevalent, so I'm not going to act like it doesn't exist, but I just never thought of doing that. So I mean, if I don't know, I just never thought of doing that. Let's see. I'm only on IG to see what people tag hustler hacks in, so I know what to look for at Ross, Burlington, and Marshalls. That's the best way to know what's hitting the streets, because then people tag hustler hacks, you know, it's in Ross or something. That's a good way to keep up to date with what's going on. That's a good idea for sure. Let's see. Yeah, old school is popping. My uncle was in his 20s in the 80s, and I'm trying to get him to give or sell me his vintage shell tops and Adidas sweatsuits. Run DMC style, big money. Absolutely. If you can get your hands on some of his vintage stuff, that'll be good money, because all the old stuff is very, this fashion is so cyclical. What was once in style is always going to come back. I remember people saying baggy clothes was never going to come back. Now everything is more loose fit and box fit. And I remember just less than 10 years ago, everything was slim fit. Some stuff was super, super skinny. So it always cyclical, it always comes back around. But if you could get his stuff, that'll be a good sale. That's another video I'm definitely going to be dropping later on, maybe on Saturday or Sunday. Just more sourcing strategies, and that's going to be one of them I'm going to be tapping into. Just telling people to just use their network, use their friends, use their family, try to source that way. But I'll go into more detail with that video. Let's see. Do you recommend opening a new bank account for eBay managed payments? Not necessarily. If you have an LLC and if you want to treat your eBay business like a business, I would suggest getting a business bank account just so you can separate everything. And also, I know this didn't happen to me, but I know a lot of people were very wary about going on to eBay's managed payments, mainly because of glitches and stuff like that. So for me, I just made sure that I separated it just in case something terrible was to happen with the accounts. That way it wouldn't necessarily affect my personal account. So that's just one thing why I just wanted to make sure everything was separate. But the main reason is if you want to treat your eBay, side hustle or business like a business, definitely want to just separate them, especially for tax purposes. That just makes your life that much easier. But we've been on here for an hour, like I said earlier in the show. I want to make sure that LeBron wins because I'm not a Lakers fan. I'm a LeBron fan. So I'm going to tune in and I'm going to try to watch this game. But thanks again for everybody tuning into the live show. We'll be back here next Thursday, 6 p.m. Mountain Standard Time. Probably try to do some more topic-based live videos. I might even start doing live videos twice a week now. I'm thinking to do maybe something earlier in the day and then doing live shows, keeping this time, but doing another one, say Tuesday at like 12 o'clock, just to switch it up. And we can have people that can't usually tune into this one because it might be too late, especially for those on the East Coast, just doing something different. So stay tuned for that. I'll keep you guys posted on when I start doing those. Might not be right away. It might take a couple weeks until I do that because right now I'm still super busy with everything. But that's something I'm thinking of in the future. So Once again, thanks everybody for the support. If you guys are interested in the consistency tees, I got consistency tees in white and in black, and it's the first link in the description below. So if you guys are interested in that, make sure you guys use code consistency10 for 10% off your order. And until then, I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace.